Is it just me, or does time move faster the older you get? Hello, fellow mushroom people, welcome to this video. So, it's already July, I don't know how this happened. It just happened. But today I want to do the Mid-Year Freakout Tag. I've seen this a lot on BookTube recently, so I just wanted to join in on the fun. Yeah, for that I brought my very professional list of the books that I read in the year 2021, and I'll just go through the prompts and tell you about the books that I've read. So the first question, the best book you've read so far in 2021. I think I have to give that award to The Midnight Library, just because how much the book moved me on a personal level and how much I could just see myself in this character. Because the character in the book, I forgot her name, she probably has one. She had a life full of like different paths that she could have taken, and in the book she's wondering what would have happened if I had taken the other path. And I think many people can relate to that, and I can as well. So for me this book was really, really good, just because I could see myself going through the same things that she went through, and yeah, it made me feel things. So I think I have to go with The Midnight Library. So the second question, the best sequel you've read so far in 2021. So to be honest, I haven't read that many sequels. I'm very good at starting series and then never finishing them or continuing them. So the only sequels that I've read are Before They Are Hanged, the second book in the Aragon series, and if you can count that, A Master of Djinn by P. Djeli Clark, because it kind of continues his novellas. So I think out of those three, I would go with The Master of Djinn, because I liked it very much, and for me it was like the perfect read. And if that doesn't count, it's Before They Are Hanged, just because the second book in the Aragon series, Eldest, it's boring. It's super boring, I'm sorry, but there was not much going on. It was not that interesting. So next question, new releases that you haven't read yet but want to. For that I want to go with Gearbreakers by Zoe Hana Mikuta. I think that's the right name. So yes. So this book, I have ordered this book, but my bookstore usually takes its sweet time, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes books are just like, oh yeah, let's see if we can get them. Oh, here they are. But this one, I hope I'll get it soon, because it sounds really interesting. I mean, it has giant robots, sapphic relationships. What else is there to want in life? So the next question, the most anticipated release for the second half of 2021. That's a good question. I have many titles on my wish list or my TBR. I just started reading Harrow, the 9th, the second book in the Locked Tomb trilogy. So I'm not that far in, but I have the feeling that this one is a much better read than the first book. So I really liked the first book. I liked the ideas and the stuff that happened, but it felt very confusing, and so it was sometimes hard for me to get through. And so far the second book seems much easier to read for me, and I don't know if that will stay that way, but for now I really like it. So I'm really looking forward to Alecto the 9th, the third book in the series, because that's going to be the finale. And also, I still haven't read the second one, Jade Legacy is also coming out later this year, I think. So I'm also looking forward to that one, but I still have to read Jade War. So next question. my biggest disappointment so far. I haven't really had any big disappointments, so there are no books that I had very high hopes for, and that really disappointed me. I think maybe that I want to go with the Sword of Kaigen. It's a bit weird because everyone in my book club, because we read that together, they all loved it. And I can totally see why. I think I have to do a review on that one because it was a particular case for me. It's kind of weird to explain because on the surface, this book is really, really great. But then it was really hard for me to read because there's a lot of depressing stuff happening in this book, and I usually, do I mind? I don't know, it was just very hard to read because on the one hand it was very emotional, and then I wasn't really that invested in the characters for some reason, so I didn't feel that connection that I sometimes feel towards certain characters. And then there were some minor nitpicks that really didn't help to propel my enjoyment of this book to another level. And that was really sad because I really want to like it because it has very cool themes, and the story it tells, I feel, is very unique. I haven't seen that kind of story before, and I really, really appreciate that, and I can't see why people love this book. It just wasn't for me. Our next question, the biggest surprise. So I think for that I have two. The first one is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda, which I read in the beginning of the year, so I think it was actually the first review on this channel. And I didn't expect much because I'm not a romance reader, and it's a romance book set in, I think, 1950s America, so historical fiction romance. Totally not my genre, but I really liked it. So it was very, very, very good, and it was a sweet romance. There was no internal struggle because of misunderstandings and all that stuff, which I don't like at all. It was all external conflict that the characters had to just to deal with. And the cover is really great, which is not, it doesn't say anything about the book, but I just love the cover. And so this was a big surprise. And the second one, I think, is Black Sun. So, because when I downloaded the audiobook, because I only listened to the audiobook, I was expecting a YA fantasy. I didn't get that, which was fine. But I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood for YA fantasy. And then there were characters that were like 30 years old, and I was like, that's not YA. But it was a really, really good book, and I'm really looking forward to the sequel. I don't know when it's coming out. Is it coming out this year? I don't know. But I really liked it. The world building was great. Most of the characters were interesting. I like the ominous stuff, the god stuff that was happening. It was just very interesting, and I just want to see more from this world, and that's why Black Sun is definitely one of my favorites this year that I didn't really expect to like this much. All right, next question. My favorite new author. For that, because that's the person that I've read the most books of in 2021 and they hadn't known before. I think I want to go with P. Djeli Clark, just because I read one of his shorter stories, two of his novellas, and one of his novels, and I liked all of them. So I think for me, this author is doing really great things that work for me, and that's why I want to see more. And I'm looking forward to the next in the A Master of Djinn series, which is not called that, but I'm just looking forward to the sequel so much because this one was really good. Okay, so next question, newest fictional crush. I don't really crush that often. So for that, I think I want to go with the character that I liked most, and I think that would be Gideon from Gideon the Ninth, just because she she's such a dog, and she's kind of cute. She just seems like a person who's fun to be around and who just tries to get along with people, and I really like that. So yeah, maybe I crush on her a little bit. She's also wearing sunglasses, I mean. So next one, newest favorite character. So this is hard, a little bit hard. So I think I want to go with Hilo from Jade City. I did not expect this character to be so interesting. I mean, so in this context, he seems like the typical brute, the guy who just goes in and punches people and has no brain whatsoever. But in Jade City, he proves himself to be much more than that, and I really like him. I don't know why, he's just one person that I feel that he's very loving towards his family and very loyal, and he's just a sweet guy despite the punching part of him. So but if only he had grown up in a better family, then I think he would have been happier. He would just have been a nice guy. And now he's punching nice guy. So yeah. So next question, a book that made you cry. For that I have to go with The Midnight Library again. The ending was very touching. It felt nice. I really like this book for reasons. So the next question, a book that made you happy. I think all the books that I read make me happy, most of them. But I just dedicated my last Sunday to read 2 graphic novels, which were very wholesome. And those 2 made me happy just because of how nice they were. And everyone was nice. And it was just, there was no big conflict, no struggling, just niceness. That was, yeah, that was good for the soul. So those made me happy, definitely made me happy. Okay, so the next question is the most beautiful book that I've bought or received so far this year. So, like I said, I really like the cover art for Last Night at the Telegraph Club, and the artist who did the cover for that book also did the cover for The Seventh Perfection, which is a novella. I think it's 200 pages long, something like that. But the cover is really great. I'm really in love with this cover art. I also, she's doing the cover for A Psalm for the Wild Bill, I don't know if it's been released already, the next book by Becky Chambers, who did the Wayfarer series. And while I didn't really like the Wayfarer series that much, I do think about buying her next book just because the cover is gorgeous. I really love the style of this artist, and yeah, all covers by her are beautiful. Okay, and the last question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? For that, I have to read more sequels. Like I said, I've only read 2, maybe 3 if you count a Master of Djinn sequels this year, and that's not enough. There's so many series that I've started, like the Daevabad trilogy, the Orphans of the Tide middle grade book, then like I just started Harrow the Ninth. Then there's Jade War, Jade Legacy coming out later this year. There is the sequel to Senlin Ascents. So there's a lot of books where I want to read the sequel, and I'm interested in all of them. I'm always like distracted because then I pick up new series. Let me show you. Like this one, Son of the Storm, first book in a series. Why not? It just keeps happening, and I'm sorry for that. But I really, really want to keep going in the series that I've started. Which, yeah, I do have many sequel books on my shelf, and I have to get through them. I just want to read them. I do want to read them, and I will soon, I hope. So, and that concludes my mid-year freakout. I hope you enjoyed this video. You're very welcome to leave a comment whether you agree on my picks or you don't. It would be interesting to see, so yeah, feel free to leave a comment. And thanks again for watching, and see you next time.